I don't know, very weird. Oh, hello there. Oh, I didn't see you there. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Gary Mitchell is looking exceptionally attractive tonight, but no. In fact, I am somebody else entirely. My name is YVONNE Ardley, and I am here to fill the gender quota for hosts on this show. So, without further ado, here are our first letters. Letter 1, just celebrate. Should we have Australia Day on January 26th? Now, this is a very contentious issue at the moment, but let's see what the panellists have to say. Letter 2, get lost. Should we be travelling around the world, or should we just be homebodies? Let's see. And letter 3, blinding dates. Now, is it trashy to go on shows like The Bachelor, or is it a very clever and strategic way to make fame and fortune? All this and more coming up next on Sweet and Sour.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host tonight, YVONNE Ardley. And we have some very interesting letters tonight, but before we read them, let's meet our guests for the evening. Demetra, this is your first time on the show tonight.
It is.
Tell me, what do you do with yourself?
I'm a fashion photographer for a website, it's like an online magazine called Cocktail Revolution, and I'm actually from Adelaide, so...
So you actually just got off the plane this evening,
I
right?
did. I'm not sure if I still have blocked ears from the plane as well, so I'm probably screaming or whispering and I can't tell anymore, but...
Well,
yeah.
you look fantastic for just having stepped off a plane.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Matt, what's been happening, buddy?
Good evening, Skippy.
Thank you for that.
Very busy at the moment, just getting ready for another telethon in October.
Yeah. So have
October.
you been training?
Yeah, about 3-4 hours a day, but more importantly, my team and I, we're a month and a half out from telethon and we already raised $90,000, so it's a massive amount of money for the kids of WA this year.
That's incredible. And how much are you expecting to actually raise on the day?
Well, hopefully we'll be well over 100,000. So our record is 126,000 from doing endurance sports for 24 hours on a particular exercise equipment. So this year we're doing 24-hour spin class and getting the public involved. So
How do I get into this?
you probably start training by the looks of
Yeah,
it.
I really do need to, Matt. My God, stop pointing it out. John, how are you going?
I'm good, thank you. Hard
Yeah.
to follow that intro.
I know. Please don't
all this
insult me as well.
Raising money for charity, all I do is sell houses and try to make money.
How is the real estate area going?
It's not too bad, actually, yeah. We're finding a bit more confidence back out there now, so yeah, expecting a good year next year, and yeah, it's been a couple of years of fairly flat market, so no, the signs are positive. So
Everything's starting to pick up?
yeah, it is, slowly. I mean, certainly not going to go gangbusters again for a while.
So does
but,
this mean we should start investing in the area?
yeah, buyers certainly buy now. I don't think there's no point waiting any longer. We're not going to drop anymore. Now's the time.
Now's the time.
yeah.
All right. And Chloe, how are you going?
Good, I'm going really well, and you?
Good. Yeah, I'm great, thank you. I'm a little bit nervous because it's my first time, but...
Oh, darling, you're killing it.
Oh,
You're
thank
loving
you,
it.
thank you. Chloe, you study nutrition.
I am. I've just got myself into nutrition, just to go hand in hand with my personal training.
Okay.
And yeah, so I'm just studying, working, being a mum. It's full on.
Sounds very, very intense. Well, welcome to the show anyway. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's move on to our first letter. So, letter 1, just celebrate. Dear Mitch and panel, why do we have to have one celebration of our nationhood? Why can't we have 2 or 3 or more? Australia Day is such a misnomer because on the 26th of January 1788, there was no Australia and there wouldn't be for many decades to come. The name Australia didn't exist for this whole continent until Matthew Flinders came up with it in 1813. And even then, it wasn't used until 1820. From there, it started to become commonplace until it was selected to be the name of our nation at Federation in 1901, the full title being the Commonwealth of Australia. So why would we bother taking that celebration away? I get that our Indigenous population does not feel represented by the 26th of January, and I feel they are quite supported in many respects to label that day Invasion Day. Still, to criticise that one day on which we commemorate the European beginnings on this continent is unfair. Rather than being divisive and attacking that traditional celebration, why can't we simply have another day when we all rally around a celebration of our more than 50,000 years of Indigenous heritage? Please, however, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's begin to celebrate all aspects of our nationhood, knowing that we've never been perfect and we have lots of progress to make together. Chloe, what do you think of this?
Okay, well, I am all for many public holidays. I love a good celebration and an excuse to have a few drinks. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 holidays. I'm all about it. I'm going for it.
You
Let's
think
do
that
it.
it's a great idea to get extra holidays?
I think so. Why not?
What do you think about the extra costs of having to employ more people on a public holiday?
Do you know what? I have not even thought about it.
But you just like the idea of being able to party.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Drinks
yeah,
up.
totally. All about it. Go for it.
John, what do you think of this?
Oh, look, I really don't see the need in changing Australia Day or changing the name of it or having another day to celebrate Australia. I mean, we've got it. It's the 26th of January. It's a day for all Australians to celebrate, so just leave it alone. I mean, I feel like we're probably in this question and in other things, we're catering to minority groups too often at the moment, and I just feel like, no, bugger it. Like, they get enough already, so keep Australia Day as it is. We need one day. As I've grown up, it's always the 26th of January. Leave it, in my opinion.
What do you think of all the councils that are slowly changing their Australia Day celebrations? Because it started in Fremantle and now a number of Victorian councils have followed suit.
Well, they have, and I don't think I've got enough time to talk about that now because I could go on for hours. Yeah, not happy, Jan,
All right,
let me tell you
hopefully
that.
Matt can talk about this. Matt, what do you think?
Well, I think we're such a multicultural society. Like, where are we going to stop? So I think, we're Australians and we've got a huge range of diverse people in Australia now. I think I have to totally agree with John. I think we leave it as it is. It's always been Australia Day. Look, the Indigenous people have been here for many, many, many years. We all know that. But I think in due respect to them, I think we also have a lot more culture in our society now. So I think leave it as it is and let's just embrace it and celebrate it.
All right, Demetra, what do you think?
I'm kind of surprised at the opinions. I'm all for changing it. I think it just doesn't reflect modern Australian identity to still celebrate it on a day that, isn't associated with happy things for the Indigenous population at all. I feel like
But
it's
are we
just,
only catering for the Indigenous people, or are we going to cater
no, I
for the
think
whole of Australia?
I mean, the letter kind of says it should be like a big old Australian thing, but how can you kind of rectify that when someone feels like there's just no way, just not this day, guys, and we're all like, yeah, but we want to get a celebratory Southern Cross tattoo and listen to Triple J Hottest 100. A bit of discomfort on our end is fine. They've had to, deal with a lot more.
I agree with what you have to say, Demetra. Now, we actually asked the public what they thought of this issue. So we asked, should the date of Australia Day be changed? And let's just have a look at the graphic now. We got the results, and interestingly, 38% said yes and 62% said no. What do you think of that, Demetra?
I'm not surprised. I just think it's not. I mean, it's...
It's your opinion, isn't it? So
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, we talk about getting lost. Should we be travelling? All that and more coming up next on Sweet and Sour.
Getting in touch with Sweet and Sour is easy. Just head to sweetandsour.net.au to send us a letter. And while you're there, why not check out our past episodes? Plus, don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And for a behind-the-scenes look at Sweet and Sour, check us out on Instagram.
Okay, all right, beautiful. Hello, welcome back to the show. We're up to segment 2 now, and just before we move on with the segment, I want to let you all know that every writer we have in here who sends a letter into our show gets sent to the movies thanks to NSE Communications. And the movie that we will be sending them to this week is Hampstead. Have any of you guys seen this movie?
No, I didn't even
heard of
I've never seen any of the movies that are ever mentioned on this show.
Right, maybe you should. Maybe you should write a letter in.
I think I need to get a life.
I think that's why they give them away free.
Not a very popular movie. I don't know. Maybe write into us and let us know what you think of Hampstead if you've seen it. All right, let's read our second letter. So this one is titled Get Lost. Dear Sweet and Sour, travel, travel, travel. That's all my partner wants to do, even though I can see it actually makes him stressed on many other levels. He thinks if he doesn't go away once a year, he's not living life to the full. So many of our friends feel exactly the same. It's like we've all adopted a travel culture. Human nature hasn't changed in thousands of years. Culture, however, has changed. History tells us that the cultural reverse was true for most of history. Ancient communities didn't want to be travelling. They wanted security and certainty in their homes. They only travelled away from family and friends because they had to in order to survive. Travel has become a huge part of our culture, with most thinking that happiness can be derived from more travel because it's always better somewhere else. The other man's grass is always greener. Perhaps it's simple escapism, but that can't deliver real happiness. Happiness comes from within, and the learning is to be happy wherever we are and whoever we are with. My issue is, how do I get him to understand this? He would rather rack up holidays on credit cards than stay home and go to the beach, movies, bushwalking, keeping fit, reading, etc. How many of the panel feel similar to my partner? I find the majority of people have been seduced into the travel culture, and this is brought to us by Janine from Preston, Victoria. Now, Demetra, are you a bit of a traveller?
Not as much as I'd like, but basically, Janine, travel can bring more happiness. So I'm kind of like, I think you lucked out with a partner like that. I think anything that teaches to be, more tolerance and expands your worldview can only be a good thing. So maybe she's trying to push her definition of happiness a little too much on her partner. Maybe.
Do you think this is a misalignment of values?
Probably, yeah. Maybe she just doesn't like being adventurous. I don't know what kind of traveling he likes, because if he likes going to, cities and staying in the hotel, then he's not terribly adventurous. She sounds kind of adventurous. She's like keeping fit, bushwalking, but I suspect maybe not as much as he'd like. So, I don't know.
Fair
I think
point.
she's lucky.
I agree.
Frankly.
All right, Matt, what do you think?
Sounds boring as batshit to me. I really think she sounds like a tree hugger, and I think travelling the world and exploring with your family or your friends, there's so much to learn, there's so much out there. We are well travelled and we love travelling, and we look forward to travelling, and we've got our own business, and our goal is that every couple of years we go on a major holiday around the world somewhere. And that's not to brag, but that's to live life and experience many cultures. And it's so beautiful to travel the world and to see how different cultures live and the experiences you have. I think it's fantastic.
Well, then what advice would you give to her if she doesn't enjoy travelling but her partner does?
It's not the advice I'd give her, it's the advice I'd give the partner would be to piss her right off and get someone that shares the same interest in you and someone that wants to explore the world, because it's not a dress rehearsal. Life is not a dress rehearsal. We get one shot at it, so why not live it? It's not all about working 40 hours a week and in our mundane rat race. It's about enjoying life with someone that loves to enjoy life with you.
Yeah, beautiful. I like that.
It's not really deep.
I really need a tissue right now, Matt. John, do you feel the same?
Yeah, I don't think I could go out with Janine, and she's probably looking at me going, thank God for that. But anyway, no, I sound exactly like her partner. I travel often, and if I have a year where I don't travel more overseas, I do feel like I've, oh damn it, I haven't travelled that year, and because for me it's about exploring cultures. It's about certainly happiness. It may be short term or long term, but travel can certainly make you happy, and so I think she should be embracing that her partner wants to travel, and if he wants to spend the hard-earned dollars on travelling, oh God, why wouldn't she want to do that? So that's my opinion to her. Loosen up a bit. Have a bit of balance, do what you want to do as well at home, but certainly travel. It's great.
Do you think she should be travelling with him?
Well, it sounds like she doesn't want to, so, maybe she should start travelling more with him, and she might learn to like it. So,
Yeah. Chloe, what do you think of the fact that he says, or she says, that she thinks it actually makes him stressed?
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting. It might look, I mean, when I am a massive fan of travelling, and I think it's very important, and I do understand that when you are getting ready to travel, it's quite stressful. But once you get there, you actually just are like, it's all worth it at the end. Travelling broadens your mind. It makes you learn more about yourself spiritually. You see how other people live. It's like, you can't just, you come out of your little square box and learn. It's just, you cannot not travel. And Janine, I'm sorry, but I'm finding it really hard to relate to how you cannot want to do that. It's just weird. But that's just an opinion. And I mean, it is what it is. But it's like, and it's fine. If you don't like doing that or anything like that's fine. But I think trying to stop your partner from wanting to do something that he actually obviously enjoys, because I'm telling you right now, if you don't like travelling, you wouldn't do it. I just don't agree with her trying to stop him from doing something that he enjoys doing.
I definitely think that is fair enough.
Yeah.
It sounds like they have a bit of a misalignment of values there.
Yeah.
Now, we actually asked our public again what they thought of this particular issue. So we asked the question, is travelling the world a necessary experience in this modern age? And actually, interestingly, 56% of the results said yes, and 44% said no. So while 100% of panellists here believe that travel is necessary, apparently only 56% of our online voters believed it to be so.
Wow.
Yeah, which is interesting. Anyway, coming up next, we have blinding dates. So we'll be talking about whether The Bachelor is a trashy show or whether it's a good way to make money. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, coming up next.
Hi, my name's Jareth, performing for you later on Sweet and Sour.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Yeah, 25 guys from Tinder, definitely. Hello, welcome back to segment 3. We're talking today about blinding dates. So let's read this letter. Hi, Sweet and Sour. Programs like The Bachelor are just so demeaning to thinking women. Look at it. One man has around 25 women throwing themselves at him, vying to be the winner, one by one being dumped. The Bachelor gets to flirt, kiss, and who knows what else with all these women, and then dispense with them one by one. What is wrong with the girls who put themselves into this situation? Am I missing something? Is it more about publicity and each chasing her 15 minutes of fame? There isn't even a cash jackpot at the end of it. So, are they stupid? And those chasing a relationship are totally missing the boat to think that these situations produce anything but superficial, short-term, ultimately painful associations. I'm sure there can be a few exceptions, though very few. Can any of the panellists identify one positive aspect of these awful programs? It's not confined to females. The Bachelorette is a testament to men allowing themselves to be drawn into, but not thinking men. Is our society prioritising exposure over self-respect? Prue, Ingle Farm, South Australia. So we're going straight to John.
Well, Prue, I've got to agree with you. I think this show and shows like this are trash TV, but unfortunately it gets the ratings. So, you know,
do you watch the show?
I don't watch it, but I've got to say my partner does. She loves the show. She actually goes over a friend's house once a week with, you know, they have wine, they have a girls' night. So if I can see one positive to the show, I get the night to myself. Yeah, look, I don't know. People that go on these sort of shows, the contestants, if you can't find a real relationship just in normal everyday life, going out to wherever parties, sporting clubs, you know, to go on this show, I think there's got to be some alarm bells ringing in the first place for these contestants. I think they are just chasing fame, personally. You see a lot of people that have gone on to radio or other things, and you know, surely they can't all be in love with the same guy. So I think it's more about fame. They just see it as an opportunity. Personally, I won't watch the show, and I don't think it's great TV, but you know, each their own. So
yeah. Chloe, what do you think about this whole situation? Would you ever go on The Bachelor?
No, I wouldn't, because the reason why these girls go on there is because they've got their own agendas, which is where I'm getting at with you, Prue. You need to reach behind and pull the carrot from out of your ass and stop taking the show so seriously. It's these girls go on these shows because they want to get something out of it. I doubt that any of these girls would be dumb enough to come on a show like this and think they're going to find true love. If it happens, then oh my God, wow, it happens. But these girls know well and truly what they're getting themselves into. I'm a massive, massive fan of this reality TV show, hoo-ha, and I don't take it seriously. I just love the fakeness and the crappiness of it.
It's
and
fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, life is so serious, and just to watch a nice show like this, it's just kind of, you know, it's stupid, but hey, I think you're taking it
It's the
too
appeal,
seriously.
definitely. All right, so we asked the members of the public what they thought of this particular subject. So we asked, are programs like this, like The Bachelor, demeaning to thinking women? And interestingly enough, the results that we got were 59% said yes and 41% said no. So actually, overwhelming majority of people thought that it wasn't. Oh, sorry, thought that it was. Sorry, it was.
Yeah.
You were quite right, yes, yeah. So, Demetra, what do you think? Do you think it is demeaning to women or?
I mean, like you said, I can't fathom that anyone would really believe it's a quest for true love, but I'm in awe of the women because they have to feign interest in The Bachelor for more than like 2 minutes of screen time, and I couldn't possibly. They're always so vanilla and like uninteresting to me. But I think the bigger problem to me is that The Bachelor particularly, not The Bachelorette, they kind of perpetuate this idea that women are fighting about men all the time. And like, I just don't think we care that much. Whereas on The Bachelorette, the guys are just like, oh, fist bump.
Yeah. Oh, totally agree. Matt, final say, what do you think?
Well, look, I think we live in a society today that we have social media, so our life is a little bit like Big Brother all the time, and we put ourselves out there for it. These girls are quite brave in the sense that they're going on the television, they're exposing themselves to the public, which is really hard. But she talks about superficial relationships. I just wonder if Prudence has had any one-night stands.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. That's a very good question. Yeah. Well, what do you think of The Bachelorette, though?
Well, look, again, I think people are brave to go on these shows. There's obviously a demand for it because we seem to enjoy the natural side of these shows. And I think if you're brave enough to go on these shows and you can make something of it for later on, then well and good, go for it.
Go for it. Yep, you heard it. First on Sweet and Sour, go on The Bachelor, go on The Bachelorette. Don't come on West TV on this panel. You'll probably make more money. All right, so that's all we have time for tonight. I'm going to leave you with a song. We have our very own Jareth Raycraft, and he will be performing You Need Me, I Don't Need You, which is probably a motto that they need on The Bachelor.
I'm in town, break it down, thinking of making a new sound. Play a different show every night in front of a new crowd. That's you now. Hella child, see my life is great now. See me lose focus, I listen to you loud. And I can't, no, I won't hush. I say the words that make you blush. I'm gonna sing this now. Still got a rucksack with the old clothes and rap the cold flows and back with the most jokes. In fact, you don't know one track. Though buzzing when my punchline's relevant. If you can't keep up, you're getting on your celibate. My flow's developing, your skin likes the melody. You give it a shot of adrenaline and I get it in. Go for the hell of it, cause ever since I hit the mainstream with the A-team, I seem the celibate. I took a homie back at the women that I packaged the image, put into context. And saw the back as a gimmick. The fact is this, yes, I end up dating actresses. We got for 30 mattresses, I think I needed practices. Will I make this happen? Call me a laxative. With the genres, I don't even know what Atlas is. Hard bop, sharp like a cactus is. Back to rapping, back to back, I've been practicing, I'm back to singing this. Cause you need me, man, I don't need you. You need me, man, I don't need you. You need me, man, I don't need you. But you need me, man, I don't need you. 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 But you need me. Gonna keep my last name forever, keep the genre pretty basic. Gonna be breaking into other people's tunes when I chase it and replace it with the elephant in the room with the face that I'll be into another rappers using the laces. I'm selling CDs from a rucksack. Aim for the paper, selling CDs from a rucksack. Aim for the imagination. Why do we just back in to get the bus black? Clean cut kid without the razor for the mustache. I hit back when the pen hurts me. I'm still a choir boy in my fan church. See, I'm still the same as a year ago, but when you hear me though, according to the MySpace and YouTubers. I'm always doing shows if I'm not, I'm in the studio. Juliet, bro, never growing up, call me Ruthie, yo. Millie, music maker, reading all the papers the same. I'm becoming like I'm riding in an elevator. Cause you need me, man, I don't need you. You need me, man, I don't need you. You need me, man, I don't need you. But you need me, man, I don't need you. 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 But you need me, man, don't need you.